Are you training? Are you living your life like a Toyota Camry? Or are you training and living your life like a Ferrari or a race car? This is a big question that I've been asking my online cricket players that I work through my online coaching. And it's something that is a little bit confronting potentially at the start when you really look back into your lifestyle and your habits and you think to yourself, wow, is everything that I'm doing aligning with the goals that I have? Now, I get a lot of messages and I get a lot of people coming to me for coaching around, and they have really, really high goals, which is awesome. And it's my job as a coach to help get you there. And that is something that I endeavor to do week in, week out. But it's one thing to have the goals, but it's another thing to live like and embody those goals. And I love using the Camry and a Ferrari analogy because both are cars, right? So a Camry will get you from A to B, so will a Ferrari. Just like how you play cricket, you can buy the same spikes, you can have the same cricket bat as someone like a Pat Cummins or a Virat Kohli or a Jasprit Bumrah or a Steve Smith. But the difference is, one is probably built for efficiency and the other is built for elite performance. The Camry, you want to take out as your everyday car. You can flog a Camry. A Ferrari or a sports car is not built to be flogged. It's built for premium performance. And that's what I want my athletes to be. You see, you and Pat Cummins play cricket. You both go to the nets. It's not too dissimilar. I was having Yochi with Todd Murphy on Saturday night, and he's been up in Queensland for a camp with the Australian players before they go to the World Test Championship. And I was just asking him, like, what does your day look like? And he's just like, yep, I get up, get a coffee, go for a walk. Then he has nets, and then he'll have lunch, and then he'll do his gym after nets, and then he'll go home. Like club cricketers do the exact same thing. You do the exact same thing. So it's often not about doing something completely different. It's about what you're doing at the moment. How can you make that better? The standards on which you have is the difference between the Australian players, the international players, and the rest. The same thing goes like a Camry. You put the 91 unleaded fuel in a Camry, but a Ferrari needs some more premium, high quality fuel. The same thing goes, as I said, a Camry can just drive around all day, all day, all day. You just put miles on the Camry, you put kilometers on the Camry without even thinking. But a Ferrari, you want to maximize the performance of the Ferrari by putting less Ks on it. And a Camry doesn't really need much care. You don't give a Camry that much care. You're happy if you miss a service. You let it just trickle on and on and on. You might change a tyre every now and then. But a Ferrari gets a pit stop every 10, 20 laps for fine tuning. They'll do one session, they'll take it in and fine tune it and take it back out. There's so many differences in here. Both cars take you from A to B, but the care and the attention to detail is so different for both cars. So the question isn't like, are you training? Because everyone trains. The question is, how are you training? I bet that you sweat at training. I bet that you work hard. Anybody can make anybody tired, but not everybody gets better from their training. Ferraris, they don't hit the track for a cruise around and just go for a drive for the sake of it. They go out with intent to find the edge to get faster and get better on that day, and they get off. Ferraris drive less kilometers than Camrys, but their performance is better. And that's something that I'm so big on for the clients that I work with. is how can we do the less training and get better? Or how can we get you to where you want to be in the least amount of training possible so you can recover better, feel fresher, etc. So essentially what I'm trying to do as a coach is get you better as fast as I possibly can, as fast as you possibly can without wasting time. Like, why improve your Yorker in 15 overs when you could improve it and find the cue that helps you fix it in 3 balls? Why gain? Why scrap and try and find 10 Ks an hour across 3 years when we can make some simple changes and do it in 1 session? That's my mindset. That's my goal. Because then we can move on to the next problem and solve the next problem faster, faster, and faster, rather than just doing junk volume over and over again. So if you are interested in that approach, I do have spots available for my online coaching. The links are down below. And if you do want to get better faster, then I'd love to help you do that. And for us to work together to find a way to make you better. But let's go back into this analogy. So there's a couple of really key points here. And I think one thing that I'm massive on is structure and consistency. That is the key for everything in life. Is if you stick at something long enough, you will get better at it. You will be consistent at it. And that's the key. And how I like to think about it is a Camry approach to training is you sort of show up to training and without really any direction. You're not sure what you're going to get better at. Whereas a Ferrari has a structured plan. They know exactly what they're doing when you go into training. They go there, they get what they need out of it, and get out. Whereas a Camry might be a little bit aimless. You might be just bowling for the sake of it, batting for the sake of it. You leave the nets, you did train, but did you get better? That's the key. Whereas a Ferrari, they're probably analysing how they're getting better in each and every single moment. The Camry doesn't really track anything. You know, you take the Camry out for a drive, you don't really track much. You don't look at the Ks on it, you might look at the fuel. You might go to your cricket training, you don't really track too much. You don't track that much things into your life. Whereas the Ferrari approach would be things like you're tracking the weights you lifted, you're tracking how much water you're having, you're tracking your sleep, you're tracking how many balls that you bowled, you're tracking what shots you practiced in the nets. I saw a great YouTube video by Collingwood Football Club, which is an AFL club in Australia, and their high performance manager, so essentially their strength and conditioning coach, he gave this great analogy, which I love too. He's like, training throughout the week is like packing your bag to go to school. It's like you go to the gym, you pack your strength, you do like your power stuff, you pack your power. And they'll say you work on your contested footy, so you bring your contested footy, and like let's change this to cricket, where let's say you practice your forward defence, you bring your forward defence, you bring your pull shot because you train that. You might train your slower balls, so you bring your slower balls. You might have done extra runs, so you bring your fitness and longevity in a spell. But it's like you should only really bring and use. You can only use in a game that you brought to the game. So if you didn't practice something throughout the week, then it's not the smartest idea, I would say, to bring that out in a game. And I was talking to one of my clients yesterday about this too. He talked about how he played like a false shot, a lofted off drive against a spinner. And I said, like, did you train that, throughout the week? And he said, no, I didn't. He's like, well, if you're not bringing that, if you're not packing your bag before you come to the game, if you're not packing that, if you're not training that during the week, how do you expect to bring that out on game day? And if that's that mindset, and that's the session structure and consistency and things like that I'm massive on and building with my online clients. And it's something that I work in, week out, on how to get the most out of them. So just by writing down the things that you practice, and then you can reflect on that before you go out and play. Like, oh, I've worked on this, and this. I know I've done this. I know, and then you might have a note saying this works well when I did this, etc. Whatever it is, being aware of what you packed in your bag to bring to the game is absolutely crucial. Absolutely crucial. It is the difference between that Camry and that sports car, that Ferrari approach. the consistency and the standards that you bring to training. Doing the basics overly well. The Camry approach, you might start late on screens. You might just think recovery is just, occasionally just go get an ice bath. Yeah, I did my recovery. Yeah, how good's this? Just once a month or something. You're always tired. You're always fatigued. You don't know how long you sleep for. You might just your caffeine. You might have a coffee at 2 or 3 o'clock in the arvo. You're not really dialed in. You don't understand. You're not really aligned with your body. You don't really know why you feel a certain way, what works for you. Whereas, a Ferrari approach, these high performers, what we're looking at here is 8+ hours sleep. 8 hours sleep. And that might be the difference between, on the weekend. So, for example, seeing Todd on the weekend, Saturday night, typically, what boys would do, what other mates would do, be like, hey, Coxie, let's get a beer. Have a couple of beers, watch the footy, bang. But Toddy's like in the middle of a camp, and to be fair, he's like this all the time. He's like, let's get Yochi, we chill out for an hour or so, home by 8:30, and then we can have a big good night's sleep and feel late next day. I'm like, bloody oath. I still socialise with him. We could have talked about the same topics over a couple of beers. We could have bonded over a couple of beers and a Palmer and things like that. But we've gone, we treat ourselves, have a little bit of dessert, but we're going to prioritise sleep. It also, he also prioritises, and what other high performers I know prioritise is the ability to switch off and relax. They structured downtime, structured time to relax. They're not going by what they feel, they're going by what they need. And then, another guy I've been working with a lot is Cam McClure, who is a Victorian fast bowler. 5 days a week he'll be saunering, ice bath, doing extra stuff from there. He's making sure he's structuring out his weeks in the off season to align with what he's going to be doing in season. So he's doing his running and his gym on the same day, so he's prepared for that. He's just structuring up his weeks, and he's understanding how much he can handle in a week, and he structures his rest around that. He knows when his nervous system's going to be fatigued, and he plans accordingly. He sets his recovery up to allow him to train. He goes you wouldn't try and race a Ferrari without a full service or without being fully dialed in. So don't go to training or don't expect yourself to perform if you're not fully dialed in with your recovery and just how you treat your body. You just got to respect your body, I feel like. Let's talk about the fuel that you put in a Camry. The Camry, as I said before, you chuck in the 91 unleaded and you let it go right down to the bottom and you fill it back up and you let it go right down to the bottom. The fill up your fuel tank light is on. And you go, bastard. Yep, I better go fill it up. Whereas a Ferrari approach, they obviously put the most premium fuel they can in their body because they want that pristine performance. And you'll notice as well that in a Ferrari, you never want the tank to go down to the bottom because that's actually not that good for the car. You might want to leave it to go halfway before topping back up because you want to have consistent energy. Someone who's not dialed in, someone who is a Camry, you might be a Camry, only eats when you're hungry. You sort of go off feel and intuition. You're like, oh yeah, I may as well eat. And it might have been 5 or 6 hours since you've last eaten. You're unprepared. You might go, oh dear, I didn't bring any food to lunch. I didn't bring any lunch to work today. Oh, I need to go take out. I need to go get some takeaway. And you're not quite sure exactly what's in it. You might, go from school to training without eating anything. You're starving. When people come into the gym, the kids come to the gym after school, and I can see them, their body level's down, their energy's sapped, and they're just walking in, their heads down, and they're curled over. I'm like, have you eaten any food since coming from school? But no. I'm like, boys. So I try and have some muesli bars ready there for them to get some fuel back into their session. Whereas a Ferrari they know what they're eating. They know pretty much what time they're going to be eating. They eat with intention to fuel their session. So, let's say, for example, I know, today I'm going to go to the gym probably at midday. So I'm going to have a high carb. I'm going to have my lunch a little bit early, like 11, because I want fuel in my body to digest. And then when I go to the gym, I can actually go and perform in the gym. That is something that I'm thinking about ahead of time. And the same thing as well, if you have like a heavy training day in the afternoon, have like a bigger lunch, a bigger afternoon snack, so you have fuel ready to go. Like you're always, like a Ferrari's always hitting their protein targets. They're always hydrated. They're dialed in with their supplements, and you're making sure that you're putting the right things into your body. You know what your body needs. Like for example, you might be having some creatine or some magnesium or some vitamin D if when you get into the winter to help supplement that. Like you just know you put in the right fuel in your body and just giving yourself the best chance for your body to succeed and your body to feel that good. That's the difference between the Camry and the Ferrari when it comes to like putting the right stuff into your body. It is so, so, so important. Let's talk about gym and strength training. The Camry approach is random workouts. It's going to the gym to get a quick pump or train like a bodybuilder. It's no real goal. Is there? You got no real clear goal with what you want to get out of it. Is it strength, power, hypertrophy? It's all a bit of a mess. You sort of go and you sort of do what you feel like. Maybe you're not dialed in. Maybe you're there, you're poor intent. You're not really training that hard to failure. Maybe you're on your phone a lot between your sets. Maybe you're not resting enough. You don't even know how long you're resting for. It's just like, oh yeah, probably should do a set now. So it's not ticking the boxes. Whereas the Ferrari, the race car, they're not doing this for no reason. They're not going off by feel. They know exactly what they need to be training for. Like, all right, I need to build the amount of force I can put into the ground. I need to get stronger. I know that power is my missing link. So this is what I'm working on this phase right now. This is the sessions I need to do. Bang, bang, bang. Go in, bang. Smash it. And this is, I suppose, what's great for having like a coach as well. And what I do with the clients that I work with is we work together. We have the conversation. What do you feel like you need for your game? And then, all right, let's put a plan in place to get you to where you want to be. I set their program up. They go into the gym. They look through their program. They go, it's like a tick the boxes on their app. They go, bang, got this done. Bang, got this done. They see, yep, PB this week. How good's this? Everywhere they're tracking their progress. They're measuring what they're doing. And they're not doing any junk volume. Everything is in there for a reason. I'm programming things there for a reason to get them to where they want to be, which is usually playing the highest level of cricket possible. And once again, I do have links down below to my online coaching details there. Other thing as well, as I said, smart programming, they're using proper rest. Ferraris don't go out onto the track without a plan. They don't go into a training session without a plan. Like the mechanics don't just open up the engine and just start randomly fine-tuning and upgrading and things like that just for willy-nilly. There's a specific purpose, and they get that done. The same thing can be applied for running and sprinting as well. Like the Camry approach is just, I feel like just going out for a 5K. Yeah, let's go for a 5K. Did a 10K. Then you don't run for 3 weeks, and you go on Strava, which is one thing too. I've got a free running program too, where you can join our Strava group, which is popping. And you look at people's Strava stats, and it's like mountains. It's up 1 week, down another, up 1 week, down another. There's no consistency in the running. Whereas the Ferrari approach, once again, they know exactly what they're trying to work on. They know why they're on the track. They know why they're running. Actually, to be fair, the track's a good analogy for this one, because if you're on the running track, you know why you're on a track. You've got a plan. Bang. It could be on your phone. It could be programmed by me on your phone, on your app. Yep. Alrighty, I've got this running. I've got these running drills, and then I've got some sprints, and then I've got some 400s or some 200s at the end, and we know why we're doing this. It's intention behind everything. Intention behind everything is absolutely massive. Let's talk about the mindset. Let's think about the mindset of a race car driver when they slightly skid off. The key in those moments is to be calm, confident, measured, make the right adjustment at the right time, reset, and just keep going. Like you see it all the time, right, in the F1s, where someone goes, and they're just off and they veer back on, and then they're bang, straight. Someone is driving a Camry probably doesn't have the calmness under pressure, and you see it all the time. If you're driving on the freeways in Melbourne, someone's gone up someone's ass, someone's sideswiped someone, you're like, oh my God, how has this happened? So frustrating. But then you're like, I know me, I probably wouldn't have it either, but like, when you, swerve out, you go, shit, and you panic, and you're startled for that long. That's a difference in mindset when you take that to cricket. Like, when it comes to like the Ferrari approaches to someone who bowls a bad ball and it doesn't ruin their day, they're not startled for the next 5 minutes. Whereas like, if I, swerve my car and almost die, I'm thinking, fuck, I'm rattled for 10, 20 minutes. One thing too is like, and in order to do that, in order to be calm when, you're operating at such high speeds and you might deviate and just swerve or just miss something and almost be taken out, is you need, like, it's training your mind, affirmations, self-talk, breathing techniques. It's practicing, it's having great routines. It's, having good mental reset drills. It's understanding how your brain works and what works for you, and seeing mistakes as feedback, not failure, opportunities to learn. Whereas, the Camry approach to mindset would be, train without reflection. You do something, you just move on. Don't think about what that actually did to your body, what that made you better at. Like, emotionally reactive in games. Like, you play a bad shot or you bowl a bad ball, drop a catch, and bang, toys out of the cot. You're done. You may as well not even play anymore because your day is ruined. How often has one bad ball completely altered your day of cricket? And then you look back and think, should one bad ball alter your day of cricket? Should it one moment dictate how you feel emotionally? Luckily, there is strategies that you can put in place to improve that if that is you. And I work a lot with that with my clients. It's really, really important. It's probably the most important thing. Cricket is played above the shoulders. That is a cliche because it's true. No doubt about that. A Camry loses motion when loses motivation when things aren't perfect. I was literally talking to a client yesterday. He didn't have his best season, and it completely. Let's say his performance was down 15, 20%, but his enjoyment and motivation was down 80%. He's like, he hated it. He's like, oh, I might stop playing. So we need to have, you need to develop some good mental tools to ride the wave, because that's the difference between someone who starts off having a bad start to the season and then finds ways to get themselves back into the season and then be resilient and improve. And a lot of it is just sticking to the plan, sticking to the process. Like when a Ferrari's in a race, let's say it's an F1 car in a Formula 1 race, the best drivers stick to their plan for longer. And if you have confidence in your plan and confidence in what is doing is right, you just got to be really, really, you got to stick to that. Obviously taking feedback and things like that. But at the same time, sometimes you just need to trust the process for longer than other people, because other people will deviate. And that's where I think people go wrong a lot of the time, is jumping between things. Quick fixes. We can't expect quick fixes. Success is a long-term game. We need to think of it instead of day-to-day, week-to-week. Think of it in years and months and years. 5-year periods. But the work is done in the day-to-day. So don't get me wrong with that. Like, the work is done in the day-to-day. But if you're, not where you want to be right now, you have goals to be significantly higher than where you want to be in terms of the level of cricket you're playing, then you need to understand that it's a long process, and you need to just take motivation in the fact that you're doing it to get yourself better. You're doing it to improve yourself. And that's the key. That's the key. I think we get the picture here. Is the Camry approach is doing sort of things for the sake of it. It might be doing a long net session and not really getting anything out of it. It's bowling for no purpose. It's putting miles on the car for no purpose. That's one thing with the bowling workload stuff as well. It's like Ferrari, you don't just drive a Ferrari for no reason. So why are bowlers bowling for no reason? Like a Ferrari is designed to stay in pristine condition all year round. It's designed that when it's driven at to its potential. But if we're just bowling and bowling and bowling for the sake of it and being a bowling machine and just being someone on a conveyor belt to help service the batters, then you're not going to get better. Like every bowling session, every net session needs to have a goal. Whatever it is, it needs to be short, sharp, high intensity, and then get out of there. You need to understand your weekly loads. Like these are F1 cars. They know exactly how many Ks this car's driven. They know how much fuel it needs for certain conditions, certain tracks. They know how much the tyres have been used. The attention to detail that goes into understanding the car can be done for you and your body. That's why having things like a Garmin or a Whoop or something like that is great to track data. So you know your body, and then you can see the trends and you know what works for you. Then you can work with coaches and get some advice and put together plans to make you better. And all of a sudden, things start to happen. When you start to really take notice of things and you start to put in this sports car level attention to detail, it's amazing. It's amazing how much high performance comes on the back of that. But high performance doesn't come on the back of treating your body like a Camry. It doesn't come on the back of your lifestyle being like a Camry. It doesn't come on the back of your training standards being like that, your mindset being like that. High performance and where you want to be and where you can get to, the people who you see on TV now, they're not like crazy people. They're not aliens. They're just people. They're people who, for a long enough period of time, have treated themselves like a Ferrari, like a sports car, like a race car. And not everyone's going to make it to the top. Not everyone's going to play professional cricket, but everybody can get the best out of themselves. That's the key. And that's something that I try to do on a daily basis, is get the best out of myself. Like, before going to record this, there's a few things that I need. I think whenever you want to do something well, you need to have energy and you need to have intent or focus behind it. So there's the physical, which is energy, and I think intent and focus is the mindset thing. So for the physical side, I make sure I've had coffee and caffeine. I've made sure I've had carbs for my brain fuel. I went out for a 30-minute walk, no phone, no music, nothing, to clear my mind, to get my body moving and blood flow to my muscles. So I knew I could come in here, execute, and give myself the best chance to perform in this environment. I do the same for my coaching. I try and set my day up to have the most energy and focus and intention for the hours that I'm coaching, and you can do the same thing too. So for when you're training, if you're training on your running session, gym session, whatever it is, set your day up to have the most energy, and so you can apply the most focus and intention towards that. If you have that mindset of all right, I'm basing my day around what's the most important thing for me, which could be a training, or it could be something at work, whatever it is, whatever the most important thing is, set your day up around, set your meals up, set your caffeine intake, set up your exercise, set up your daily movement around the most important thing of the day, so you can have the most energy, the most intent and focus, and it's amazing. If you start bringing that sort of level of performance to your days, it's amazing how much you will start to improve out of sight. That's all for today. Thanks for listening. As I mentioned before, links down below to my online coaching, and I've also got a free running program out now too for you to download, which I'd love you to do and try and join our Strava group and get around that. Hundreds of people in that already. But I'll catch you guys next week. And that's a wrap for today's show. Thanks for watching, guys. I know you haven't subscribed yet, so please make sure you do right now. Leave a review and let me know any feedback or any questions that you have from this previous episode. If you are interested in becoming the best cricketer that you've ever been and getting coaching from me, I have all my links down below in the description for either my in-person and based in Melbourne or my online coaching where you can be anywhere around the world. Thanks, guys. Feel free to share with a friend, and thanks for tuning in. Win the day.